The next beat or sample you make could change it all. This is what we've come to realize as producers in the music industry. When we think about it, you don't actually have much control on getting people to use your music. So as a producer, all you can do is everything you possibly can to get your music out there. There's not one magical thing that you can do. It's a combination of multiple tasks on a daily basis that if you do all these things, you're gonna have the highest chance of finding success. And by the end of the video, you're gonna know all of those things that you need to do. So let's get started. We're gonna start with this. The beat you make today, before watching this video maybe, could blow up and could be placed on a massive song in maybe even 2-3 years from now. First thing, our NIMS placement should be released by the time this video is up, was from a sample made just over a year ago. It was honestly one of the first samples that we made in that style when we first were like, okay, let's shoot for a NIMS placement. Secondly, Lil Tecca just dropped a song called Dark Thoughts, which was from a type beat on YouTube that was uploaded a year and a half ago, which was a Pharrell Neptune's type beat, nothing like what Lil Tecca has been releasing. This guy sold heaps of licenses with it already, and then on top of that, a year and a half later, Lil Tecca song, and it's doing really well, which is obviously so cool for the producer of that beat. Even when Lil Tecca hopped on the beat with our sample, that was a NIMS type beat, completely different to Lil Tecca's genre. We still get placements to this day with samples from 2 years ago. We have free packs on YouTube that is still getting views to this day, it's still ending up on people's hard drive, and on songs that get decent amount of streams in all different parts of the world. But obviously at the time, we had no idea what was going to go. We were just creating. Central C's Now We're Strangers song was from a sample made 3 years ago, recorded on voice memos with a guitar. These guys had no idea it was going to end up on a Central C album in 3 years time, but it really goes to show that whatever you're doing now has so much potential. The key is to make cool, great music that is almost timeless in a way. So making music now is benefiting your future self. Secondly, if you want to slow your success down as a producer, work alone, never collaborate with anyone. Collaboration is what will get you placements. We basically don't have any placements, especially no placements over 1 million streams, without having worked with another co-producer on the song. That's the reality. Working with other producers is honestly almost a non-negotiable if you want to speed up your progress. You can benefit off the fact that another producer can add something to the beat or sample, and then you both now can send all the music to both your connections. The music goes a lot further and the quality of it can be better. Obviously we're a duo, but if you're a solo producer, you have a solo name, one of the best things you can do is find another producer who's a similar age, who's a similar level in the industry. If you're from the same country, that could be cool. The main thing is if you work really well together, you can make cool samples or beats together. That is one of the most valuable things for your career as a producer. And if we weren't a duo under the name International, I'm sure we'd be working together a lot anyway. It is basically the cheat code to success as a producer in 2025. The producers Harry Beach and 8, you may not have heard of them, but you've definitely heard their songs, multiple songs with Central C recently. They pretty much do everything as a duo. Although their names are separate, they work together most days and they're winning together, making great music together. And this happens all the time in the industry. You'll see you've got Lytech and YJ, they did Dojo by Central C. These guys pretty much are a duo. They make music together all the time. You've got 808 Mellow and Axel Beats who collaborated together on pretty much most of Pop Smoke's songs. There's so many case studies out there. It is one of our #1 bits of advice for a solo producer out there. Find someone who you work well with and lock in with them. You go to great heights together. If you're doing this all alone, to be honest, you're going to get left behind. That is the reality.
Next up is to get your music heard in as many different countries as you can. Make sure you're sending music to producers and artists in the UK, the US, Spain, Germany, France, literally any country you can think of. There's music in all countries, there's charts that you can get into in all countries. There is money to be made from songs in pretty much every single country in the world. In some countries, usually that tend to have good economies, they'll pay more per stream on things like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. And in countries where they're not doing so well as a country, they'll pay less. But that's not to say you shouldn't be sending music out to these people, because even in these like Latin American countries, the streams that they get are absolutely insane. They've got like hundreds and hundreds of millions on songs you've never heard of in your life. Getting one massive song with an artist like Brian Myers or Jay Wheeler, that could definitely change your career, open up a whole lot of new connections, as well as hopefully a decent paycheck to come with it. Now, how we go about doing this, which is how we'd recommend you guys do it as well, is we get maybe 1 to 3 producers. We'll find them usually through Instagram or on Spotify credits, something like that. Send them a DM, and then there's always just a select few people that tend to be a lot more receptive. You send samples through to them, they like your music, and then you just honestly just build this good connection. We don't like to go too crazy with the amount of people we're sending, especially when we want to keep them as a close connection. The fewer people you've got to send to, the more authentic you can be, the easier it is to keep track of what music you're sending and how often. This is how we do it. We'd highly recommend you guys do it as well, and just really lock in with them and never stop sending. Next up, if you're not already, whether you're doing samples or beats, start a type beat channel or start putting sample packs out for other producers on YouTube. Now, we've had doubts about both of these things in the past, but we've come to realize for both of them now, there really isn't any reason you shouldn't be doing them in this current stage of where music is right now. We started out with sample packs and then we sort of went off them a little bit because we thought, oh, we want it to be more exclusive and all this stuff. How we run our sample packs now is every few months or so, we'll just get a pack of samples that aren't so exclusive and that we're not sending to our best connects, put them into a pack and then put them on YouTube, so then everybody who comes across them can get those for free, getting the opportunity out there for one of those samples to end up on some random record that we never could have got otherwise. There's just a great way to get placement, especially if the samples are hard. People will keep coming back for your samples. We've got a full guide on our YouTube channel, how to release, how to put together a free sample pack, and just everything you need to know if you want to be doing that as well. And with the type beats, honestly, at first we thought it would be taking away time from making samples, doing other beats and sending them out. But then as we traveled and we just talked to people online, we just met and heard about so many people making good money with their type beat channels that we just thought enough is enough. We've got to try this for ourselves. Let's just go all in into a type beat channel, see where it goes. We're about 7 months in currently. The progress is tracking pretty well at the moment, and we just know if we just stick at it basically forever, we're going to be getting good beat sales. We've even interviewed a producer on our channel recently who's doing very well for this type beat channel, even getting industry opportunities just stemming from posting type beats on YouTube. Your life could literally change from a type beat you've posted or one sample from some random free sample pack you've put on YouTube. You just never know who's out there watching your stuff, what massive artists or producers are scrolling through your YouTube channel. All you can do is just tip the odds in your favor and get your music out there.
Next up, send your music out every day. A disclaimer, do not send your music out until you have confirmation that it's good. Especially to the big industry guys, don't want to burn the connections. We've been there. Honestly, for those of you who are just starting out in the samples and the beat creation, give it a year and a half until you're sending to these big industry guys. Maybe you could start sending to some type beat guys before that. A year and a half is going to give you enough time to really get your samples to a good level. Maybe you'll get way better before that. Maybe it will take you a few more years. It really depends how much effort you put into it and how well you improve. But to put that away, let's say you've got good music, send every day. Even recently, we just changed this. We were sending a bigger amount of samples, maybe 5, 6 in a week, which we realize now isn't the best strategy. If you send maybe 1 or 2 samples a day, it's going to give you a much bigger chance of people to use your stuff. As long as you're not being annoying, some people might find it annoying, so you got to be careful. And maybe it's not every single day, maybe it's every second day. But a small amount of samples more often is going to ensure that people are more likely to hear your sample when they're in the mood to make music, when they're actually in the studio. If you just send once a week, there's a chance they could be out. There's a chance the email could get lost. So put the odds in your favor and send smaller amounts of samples more often, if not every day, every second day. And don't stop. This is hugely important. If you want long-term success, you can't stop sending to people. You never know when people are going to listen or use your music. We've sent to people for months and months with Dropbox links, with emails maybe, until we heard anything back from them. They might not even open an email. And then randomly they open an email. A week later, they send you a video of them making a beat. Random things happen all the time, of people sending us snippets or just an MP3 back with a beat. You really just can't afford not to send your music out because you're not really doing any harm. In our experience, there's almost a level of respect when you're sending to someone a lot with high quality music. After a while, they'll go, holy moly, these guys international have been sending to me for months. Let me check one of their things out. You'll hit them on the right day. They've got nothing to do and they're sitting on the train or something. They get your email or you message them on iMessage. They're like, okay, I'm gonna give them a chance. Let's see. Never know where that could go. And just a little side note, if there's someone who's genuinely almost seems inactive, they're not really opening much, still, we don't think you should stop completely, but maybe tone down the amount of samples you are sending. Maybe don't send every day, maybe once or twice a week, but for the most part, send every day. Don't stop. Trust us. It'll pay off in the future. It has paid off for us, and we've only been doing this 2 years. Imagine in 5 years from now.
Next up, this is more of like a frame of mind you need to have just as you go about day-to-day tasks, making music, sending out your music, doing all these things we've talked about in this video. Money getting placements, all the stuff takes so much time. You probably haven't heard this enough. You can't get rich quick off music. You can't get these placements fast. You can't do any of these things in any less than like 3-4 years. You can find some success. We've found some success in 2 years. We've basically worked equivalent to a full-time job for 2 years straight, probably more than what most people work in a job. So we're being straight with you. There's no shortcuts to this, and you just need to think about this. Send out music every day. You need to be okay with doing this for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years without having the rewards that you're seeing all these other producers getting and posting on these stories. Especially if you're starting out, understand you're going to need to have years in this game before any of the stuff starts coming towards you. Be okay with it. Stick with the long-term goal. You just need a lot of patience and a lot of hard work.
And let's finish with this. As we're progressing, we're realizing life gets easier as you progress through the producer ladder. It is how it is. The more followers you have, the more unique sound you have, the more placements you have, the more social proof you have, the easier it is to land placements, get connections, and get paid. So to be honest, the more status you have as a producer, people will come to you for things, people will bring you opportunities, people will literally just come to you for the fact that they can use your sound. But of course, this has to be earned. Eventually, we're going to get to the point, and hopefully you will as well, where you can make whatever the hell you want to make, whatever style of music you want to make, and people will appreciate and want to use it because it's you making it. We'll wake up one day and we'll want to make an R&B bossa nova sample, and we'll just, with our connections, figure out a place for that to go, and maybe it will get placed. That's the level you can get to with this production stuff, but obviously it does not come easy. Remember that the next thing you could make could change it all for you. You know exactly what you need to do after this video. Get into cooking up something, and then find a place that can go on the internet to someone. Do this day in, day out for years. If you want to watch the video we mentioned earlier about the producer we interviewed who's selling beats and getting placements all with the Type Beat channel, check that out there. One of our favorite videos. Great interview. But with that being said, go cook up now. Cheers for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.